What is going on? My name is C-Dub, and today's topic is important because we're going to talk about a recent article I read that was written on June 8th, and it was talking about intermittent fasting and it failing and not working. So I wanted to talk about the points in this article and kind of talk about why I disagree with some of them and kind of talk about where we are with intermittent fasting and some of the experiences with people that I've met and the reasons why they have difficulties and that they may fail in it, and kind of just, give you an overall conversation about it. And if you're new to the channel, I lost 125 pounds. So this is something that, and I did it doing intermittent fasting. So this is something that I'm passionate about and I have a lot of knowledge about. So in this article, it basically said that they had done a study and that the test group, some of the people had lost weight and some of them hadn't. But they didn't find that anybody had lost any more weight than any other study that's really out there on anything with calorie restriction, and that there was definitely a group of intermittent fasting people that did not lose weight. And they kind of broke this failure up into two different reasons. And one of the reasons why people failed were because they were breaking their fast throughout the day. And I want to hop into that one really deep in a little bit. But the other one, they said that people restricted food all day long and then they overate in the meals and in the time period that they were allowed to eat because they had restricted these foods. And I kind of wanted to talk about, the fact that I know I promote eating one meal a day and it's something that I've done, and it's very difficult to overeat your amount of calories when you're eating one meal. Do I think that there are people out there that try intermittent fasting and that they do restrict themselves, so when they do eat, they overdo that eating and they end up putting themselves in a situation where they've been taking too much food in the day? And I think that absolutely does happen to some people. And I do not think intermittent fasting is right for every single person on the planet. I do think that the people that have this issue, though, a lot of times jumped into a fasting protocol way too fast. They jumped into an 18 hour fast or a 20-hour fast, and then they're just engorging themselves because they never let their bodies adjust to it. And maybe starting at something simple like a 12-hour fast, it's not even really intermittent fasting, but just restricting from food and getting used to the idea that we don't have to eat all the time. And no matter whether you support intermittent fasting or you don't support intermittent fasting, I think we can all agree that we're eating too much and too often. So it's just one of those things where I think that some of these people are going into a study willy-nilly and they're being forced into, this 16 and 8 protocol, and they have never done a fast of any kind at all. And so they put themselves in a situation where, of course, they're going to mess up. And of course, they're not going to be quite ready for the trials and tribulations, if you will, of the fast. And so therefore, they're going to break it. They're going to overeat. And all of these little hiccups are going to happen. Or if you move slowly into this and allow your body to adjust, I think you can overcome that problem. And then also maybe plan out your meals a little bit too, so that you're not overeating, because you can overeat and there is no way around that. It's just a simple fact. But the other group in breaking their fast, this is something that I found interesting. They said something like, and I forgot, they had a percentage on there, I'd say 18% didn't realize they were breaking their fast all day long and that they weren't really intermittent fasting. And that was a fail in the eyes of this research. Well, I want to state that this is a problem that I see more often than not. I can give you a couple examples, one of which is I had a coworker that I was working with on intermittent fasting and talking to them on a day-to-day basis, and they were on their schedule, and they were saying to me they're not losing weight, they don't understand why I do. And then one day when we were clearly in their fasting window, they had asked, I said, hey, I'm running to the store, do you need anything? And they had said, yeah, can you pick me up some kind of tea thing? And I was like, what? And they wrote down the name of whatever green tea this was. I went to the store and I picked it up and it had like 300 calories in it. So I brought it back to them and I handed it to them and I said, you realize that this breaks your fast? And they said, what do you mean? Tea's good for you. And I said, read the back of this thing. This thing has 200 plus calories, like 280 calories in this drink. And you're drinking, how many of these do you have in a day? And he said, I drink them a lot, 4, 6. And I was like, wow, when you really break down how many calories you're drinking at 300 at a pop, if you're drinking 6 of them, that's 1,800 calories a day you've drank. not to mention eating and you've had no fast because your body has had to digest these calories the entire day. You know, your kidneys are working all day long here, and you're putting yourself in a situation where your insulin levels are never leveled out. And so that's why you're not losing weight. And they were like, well, I have to have this in order to do the diet. It's not something that I can give up. And then, you know, I tried to explain to them, now, listen, at 1,800 calories a day intaking, your total calorie intake is supposed to be 2,200. So you can only eat 400 calories. Even if you do whatever diet you want to do, this drinking part that you have going on in your life is crippling you. And I think that this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize in just being an adult on planet Earth today. When you sit down and have that glass of wine, or if you drink 3 or 4 beers when you get off of work, you're ingesting so many calories. You know, when you stop and you drink a Coca-Cola, those calories are there and they're impactful and they mean a lot. And I think that that is one thing that all fasting people can do, and just all people can do on our planet, is start to realize that it is unnecessary for us to drink our calories. That if we can move away from drinking our calories, our success of weight loss is going to exponentially grow. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that intermittent fasting is something that works incredibly well, but you have to go into it slowly, you have to go into it smart, and you have to kind of understand. You can't just jump into it with no background information and think that you're fasting in the right way. A lot of people still add creamer and different things into their coffee multiple times a day. A lot of people choose non-sugar-free bubble gum. And, you know, a lot of people do all of these little things. I've even sat down with somebody that told me that they fast and when intermittent fast. And when I talked to them in depth about it, they eat fruit all day. They said, well, the fruit holds me over till my meal. I'm only eating 2 meals a day. I'm doing the warrior diet, but the fruit is holding me over. And I'm like, that is not the concept that we're talking about here. What we're talking about is restraining from all calories for a minimum of 16 hours a day. That's what we're talking about. That's the first level of success. When we can get that going, then the major thing is only eating twice in that 16-hour window. Because if you're eating and then snacking throughout the time, it's going to add up. If the window opens up and you say, I can drink these green teas, or I can drink these, Cokes, or I can, drink this beer or this wine for this whole 8 hours, those calorie levels are going to increase to a level that you are going to fail at. So eating twice in that window is huge. And yes, you can have a beer with your dinner, but to have 5 beers with your dinner, that's going to cost you greatly on the other end. And that's something you've got to keep in mind with what the meal is you're eating that day and what the meal is tomorrow. At the end of the day, one thing that I can leave you with is that doesn't mean you can never have, too many glasses of wine in a sitting or have too many drinks, or, you can have a whole pizza if you want a whole pizza. But what you got to realize is there's consequences for that if I do it multiple days in a row. If I eat a whole pizza and then I drink myself 5 beers the next day, and the next day I go out with ice cream for the family, and it just keeps going and going, then I'm not going to have success. That there is got to be some kind of balance. I have told you on this channel since day one, I have not lied. I still eat ice cream. I still eat pizza. I've showed you guys my meals. Some of you guys laugh and say, where are the vegetables? You're eating too much of a standard American diet. I get all the feedback and I hear everything that all of you say. But on the other side, I've had the success. I've done this and I've won the war. But I can guarantee you that I didn't win the war in the same way of eating the same, overeating every single time. And there were times in this journey when I struggled because I was eating too many desserts a month. And I was struggling because I was having pizza once a week instead of once every 3 weeks. And all of those things begin to add up. And over the course of time, they can cost you. So you can still enjoy anything there is to enjoy when you're intermittent fasting. But you've got to be smart about your approach and your attack. And that's the number one thing that I want you guys to understand, that we can do a study and we can make it say whatever we want to say. And yes, I'm sure, 40% or 50% of the people that were in that study didn't lose weight. But I guarantee you that 40 or 50% of the people watching these videos that don't apply the things that they're supposed to are going to not lose weight too. And there are going to be some people that are able to still eating their, bubble gum or putting creamer in their coffee. You just have to know what you're doing and what the ramifications are on your blood sugar and on everything involved, and then balance it out. And if you can come up with a way of balancing it, whether it be I ate a pizza so I'm going to fast the next day kind of deal, you're going to have success and you're going to be able to still do the things you enjoy. I hope all of that was helpful. Right here is a video that I know you're going to like if you just click on it and give it a try, but YouTube says you'll like that one more. Which one are you going to like? I don't know. Pick one of them though, and please watch it. In my face, it's right there. If you have not clicked on that bad boy, please do it and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.